Hi everyone, we're working in Module 2. The document is called ATM Safety. There are two files to open. The first one is the completed file for you to refer to. The second one is the actual file that you'll open and work on. So this is a research paper. Right now it only is on one page, but when we change it to double spacing, it'll go on to 2 pages, plus the third page with the works citation. So this is working with MLA, Modern Language Association research paper, and we need to make some adjustments. If you notice right now, like I said, it's not in single space. If you click the paragraph dialog box, it'll tell you that it's not in double, it's not in single, it's in multiple, 1.08, and then it has after every single paragraph an extra 8 points. So we're going to be changing that. Also, if you look at the font selection is Calibri 11, and for the MLA, they prefer the Times New Roman 12. So what we'll do in the styles group under normal, because normal is considered the Calibri 11 and the spacing at 1.08, we're going to right click on normal and choose modify. And what we'll do is we'll select in the font style Times New Roman and the size 12, and then here's our sample of what we have. We'll go into the format and choose paragraph, and that's where we'll change the line spacing to double, and then the after spacing should be 0 after every paragraph, just 0, because we're in double, and then click OK and OK. And it changes everything because we have modified the normal. So now if you look over the font, it's Times New Roman 12. If we were to look in the paragraph symbol, it's at double spacing. Perfect. So at the very beginning of this, press enter once, just so you give yourself some space. And what we would have as the heading in your report is your name, and then the instructor, and then the class, and then today's date, the date that you complete this assignment. And there's an actual shortcut feature, so I'm going to click Insert, Date and Time, choose the third option, and OK. And then press Enter, and this will be centered, so I'll go back home, Center, and the name of the report is ATM Safety. So now what I'll do is select from everything from the first paragraph to the end. So I'm not selecting the heading because the heading is staying at the left margin. So then I'll choose paragraph dialog box, and for this is indentation, under special I'm going to choose first line, and it automatically indents a ½ inch, which is perfect. So every first line of a new paragraph will be indented. So our title stayed in center and our heading is still in the left margin. Now for MLA style reports, they want a header to appear on every single page. So you'll click Insert, choose Header in the header footer group, and I'll choose the very first one, blank, and it does appear to the far left, but if I do Control R, it puts it to the right, and it should be your last name followed by a space bar. Don't type a number 1 because all the pages would be number 1. What you'll do is you'll click page number in the header footer group on the left hand side, choose current position because that's where you want it to appear, and then plain number. And if you notice, because we adjusted the normal, the font style is still Times New Roman 12. So I'm going to go back to header and footer design so I can close out of here. So my header, and if I scroll down, there's page 2, and our name's there. All right, within this MLA research paper, we're going to have a footnote and a couple of insert citations. So a footnote is like a by the way, an additional information, and it can either be at the end of the page that it appears on, which is a footnote, or an end note, which would be at the end of the entire research paper. We're going to use a footnote. So if you scroll down, so where the footnote will go is after the word possible. If you want to look, if you have the other one open, you can see that it's after possible in the period, and see the raised number 1. That's a footnote, and it appears at the bottom under the separator line. So they're giving you additional information about the ATM. So what we'll do is after the period, after possible, click References, choose Insert Footnote. It takes you to the bottom of the screen, and you'll type the information that is shown on that original. So once you finish the footnote information, there is a parentheses 65, 66. Don't do that right now. That's part of a citation. So the next thing we'll do is work on citations. So that's information that you either took either direct quotations or information from a resource. So you have to give credit where credit is due. So the first one is in the second paragraph. And again, if you wanted to look back at the sample one, the first one is right here in the second paragraph after immediately. Notice it's before the period. So if we go back to the document, so after immediately, make sure your cursor is between the Y and immediately and before the period. And in the reference tab, you're going to make sure that you're in style MLA, because that's the book is referring to the MLA standard style, 7th edition. Then you'll click Insert Citation. And you'll choose Add a New Source. You're doing a completely new one. And then this is similar to if anyone's ever used EasyBib, where you put in the information from the book or the website or the article in a periodical, wherever you're getting the resource information from, and then it generates it into the proper MLA format. So if you were to go back to your sample one and you scroll down, I'm just going to have to cancel here for a second. If you go to your original one and you scroll down, the information for the first one for Bayo is a website, and all of the information that you'll be putting in is in here, so you'll have to probably do a split screen to put in your information. So I'm going to go back to the one I was working on and fill it in. So again, you're between the immediately and the period. Once the information is filled out in each of the categories, click OK. And if you did it correctly, you should have Bayo in parentheses with the period following. If you needed to go into it at all to check it or to make a change, you would click the down arrow and choose Edit Source. And it takes you right back to your insert citation. So the next citation is actually in the footnote. So if you go again after the A in area but before the period, again it's another insert citation. There's your first one that you created. This one is an add a new source, and it's going to be a book. And I'm going to fill in the information for you. So the type of source was book, and you have the two authors. Just to notice between the author's names, make sure it's a semicolon. Between their last name and the first name, it's a comma. But make sure between the two separate authors, it's a semicolon. And then you have the title, year, city, publisher, and medium. And then click OK. And then if you did it correctly, again, the parentheses shows the name of the two authors. But what we want to do is, because their names are already mentioned, we'll just put in the location of where it is on this page. So if you click the down arrow and choose Edit Citation, you want to suppress the author, the year, and the title, and you just want to have 65-66, and it'll put it in parentheses for you. There you go. So now you have it in parentheses, the location of where that source was. The last one is on the second page. And if you wanted to check exactly where that one's located, and you'll see it right here after nearby. Again, go before the period and go ahead and do insert citation. There's our two, so we're add a new source, and I'll fill in the information for you. So the third insert citation is an article in a periodical. You have just one author name, title, periodical title, year, month, pages and medium, and then click OK. And again, you'll have the author's name in parentheses followed by a period. So we're finished. If you wanted to take, almost finished, if you wanted to take a preview of what it looks like right now, multiple pages. So it's 2 pages, your name's and your last name and your page numbers on both of them. They have the separator line for your footnote. The only thing we need now is our work citation page. So what we'll do is go to the end of the document, Control End, press Enter so that you start a new line, and then Control Enter, holding Control and pressing Enter will actually start a 3rd line. What you want to do here is, right now it's indented that first 1/2 inch. So if you want to just move this first line indent so it's at the left margin, and then when you go ahead and click center, it'll center it perfectly in the middle for you. So before I do that, what we're going to do is be putting in the reference information, those 3 people that or sources that we referenced in alphabetic order. And if we do that, we're going to go to bibliography and we're going to choose works cited. But if I were to choose this one, it gives me the 3 pieces of information, the resources in alphabetic order, but it puts works cited in a different font and a different color and that's what we don't want. So I'm just going to undo. So what you'll actually do is center and type works cited yourself, enter, and I'm just going to go back to the left margin. Then when I go to references and bibliography, I'm going to come down to insert just the bibliography. And there you have the information in the correct font. If I go back to check, it's Times New Roman 12 because we did that modify with the normal. And notice it has them in alphabetic order. If it's longer than 1 line, it indents it the 2nd line, which is called a hanging indent. Notice you have your last name in page 3. So if we view this as a multi-page document, it should be 3 pages. And that's a save and submit for your MLL style.